Howdy doody 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 doody. That hit a lot harder than I was expecting. Excuse me there. Holy crap. That was not expected at all. So, it is Saturday. We're getting stoned. What's up with you? How you doing? How you doing? How you feeling? I was reading an article earlier, and there's a lot of stuff that I see that trips me out. Sorry, I'm about to cough again. It trips me out, and it's just weird that what people think is radical and strange. There was an article talking about a radical new theory about black holes. Wasn't all that radical, wasn't all that weird or whatever. So, of course, that brings me to my theory of black holes. What are they? They're the crossover point between our universe and the negative universe. The reason Einstein was able to predict it is because he did an equal and opposite prediction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So, if there's a star, there must be a star out there that pulls in light. Now, he didn't understand why or what, but if there's a star out there that gives off light, there must be a star that pulls in light. And he started using his mind to figure out what could pull in light. Gravity. Now, was he onto something? I don't really necessarily know, because, we don't really interact with black holes. But here's my theory. They connect, they pin our reality to the negative reality. Where there's a black hole in our universe, there's a star in their universe. Where there's a star in our universe, there's a black hole in theirs. Why don't we see them? Because we're seeing the ones that are turning on. Think about it. If it was on, if a black hole was on, you wouldn't see anything. Because it would have pulled in everything around it, leaving only black. There's no light to illuminate it, to light it up, to see this black sphere in the middle of nothing. If it was on. So if you see shit going towards it, that means light is able to escape to your eye. That contradicts a black hole right there. Oh, it's photons. Nothing is supposed to be able to pass the event horizon. So just hear me out real quick. If it's turning on and sucking up everything around it, that one is on and pulling things, and therefore you would see it, but it's still pulling shit in. When it's done pulling shit in, you won't see nothing. If you have gravitational wave anomaly fucking detection software on your fucking spaceship that's going out there, I don't know what the fuck you're doing out there. But as you're flying and you see a big patch of just empty, I'd watch out for the center of that big patch of empty. Right around the edges of that big patch of empty, because that's probably the very edges of that gravitational field, of that pull. Inside there, you can probably get slungshot, you know what I mean, around. If you go too far straight in, you might be like quicksand. Once you get halfway through, it may be too late to turn around. Like, oh, there it is, and you can see it like at the last second as you're getting close, and it blocks out anything like behind where you were going to. Fuck. So, yeah, but that would end entropy, wouldn't it? Because their universe would be dissolved. As it dissolves, it feeds into ours, in the form of stars, and stars give off light. Light is energy. We can capture that energy in photons and fucking solar cells. It gives off light was the first thing that was created in the universe, according to the Bible and according to science. Where did it get that energy from? The negative universe. You want proof of the negative universe? Take an old school camera out and take a photo of anything. There it is. You just captured a picture of it. Why doesn't it capture the photo like this? Like we are. Our digital cameras capture it. Unless it captures it negative and inverts it so fast that we don't even see it. But even then, inversion, I mean, it does invert. When you're developing a picture, it inverts the color. What if when they go to develop their pictures in this negative world, they put it in there, all of a sudden the colors look like us. They're like, oh God, why do I look so weird? Well, that's where it's negative. Because that's the same conversation we're having when we get developed. It looks so fucking weird. That's a negative. It's a negative image. Everything over there is solid. Everything solid here is empty over there. Everything empty over here is solid over there, causing so much gravity that it bleeds over into our world. They jump using, they stay on the ground using anti-gravity. Because their gravity would be pushing. They would have anti-gravity, so they would, yeah. What if that's what we're actually doing? There's actually anti-gravity trying to throw us off because it's spinning around, and we're actually using anti-gravity to stay on, and we don't even know it. Our minds are just kind of fucked up about the way we're thinking about things. We think we're jumping up and something's pulling us back down. Yeah, kind of. It's more of a... Rather than we're instead of us jumping up. It's weird thoughts, because if you think about it, at the end of the day, collapse down. You give in to gravity. So how do we jump? Figure out how we jump and get off the ground, and then you solve anti-gravity. Apparently it's a very weak force. I don't know. I'm not talking about flight. We're talking about sustained propulsion against magnets. An electromagnet, like you have an earth magnet and an electromagnet, so that way it repels against the earth magnet, but that one stays situated. But the electromagnet, you can change the voltage to whatever you want, so the amount of repel. But if they're locked together, you push it, it just kind of pushes itself up. Just things to think about. Shit to think about. I've thought about all kinds of shit, man. Perpetual motion. I propose that in science we change. If you're going to put forth a theory, does it sound like RFK? Go ahead and cough that out. If you're going to put forth a theory, you have to put forth the equal and opposite, and at least test it theoretically. If you want to propose that an asteroid possibly destroyed the dinosaurs, we have to put up the theoretical model that a supervolcano erupted and killed them. No outside source needed. No 1,000,000 to 1 strike. No weird, how did the moon get here? It was a supervolcano that blew early on, coated the earth in soot and ash, and projected a huge amount of magma. About, I think they said in order to be a supervolcano, it has to eject at least 1,000 kilometers square. The moon is 3,000, over 3,000. But again, in the weightlessness of space, it could expand and can, you know what I mean, because the heat, and as it cools, it push against, and so it keep expanding. As it cools, the heat inside would make it warm and want to spread out some more, warm, spread out some more, warm, spread out some more. As it begins to cool on the outside, maybe those aren't asteroid impacts, but just like on Earth, there's a heat inside that's pushing against this cooling crust and the magma inside from this eruption that just not too long ago happened, and it's wanting to expand because there's no weight out there in space as it keeps going, as it just I mean, way more than like either Yellowstone. I mean, like I said, if you look at the Gulf of Mexico, it has an explosion. And the Yucatan Peninsula did go. It did. But not that one impact. Impact. If you look at Crater National Park, it's even called Crater, but it is a volcano because it looks like a crater. Same thing. The moon, same thing. The inside of it was hot because it was ejected from the earth. As it's cooling, a kind of a small crust happens, but the heat inside wants out, so it ejects and makes little spouts. Deposits on this, and then it just keeps growing because it's not quite cold enough yet. The inside is still scalding, fucking hot as shit, and it's still contracting. It's still expanding. They said that there's iron in the magma, and supposedly the moon rang like a bell. One, I thought there was no noise in space. And then two, wouldn't that be a hollow moon? And wouldn't that be a perfect thing? Because like I said, it ejected the magma into space. I mean, we're talking huge amount. This is huge. This is not like a regular volcano. This is a super volcano that would have exterminated. Same thing as a meteor strike. Early on in the, I mean, they may have set the continents, and there was such a big explosion it set the continents adrift. I'm talking huge. Huge enough to blow out the moon. So, that, I mean, I'm sure it probably did get hit. But that would explain why it's tidally locked to us. Because, like I said, if it was just, imagine being able to take a baseball and just throw it. I mean, just take it. You're not, and just throw it into the air as far up as you need for it to go become a satellite. Would it be spinning? No. If you just threw it straight up, it would just go. And once it hit that, you know. It's a thought. Like I said, it's a more reasonable thought and more rational thought than another planet said, "Here you go. Here I have this moon," and then fucking threw us one of their moons in this weird cosmic game of catch. You know, that's in 3D space and time as they're making their different things and it just slingshots around a couple planets and stuff and like and lands in our perfect orbit. No, I don't believe that. That's I mean that's of the two, which is more likely. We claimed that there's a very volatile Earth that was ejecting shit. Maybe it had a proto moon up there already and injected more shit and it just I don't fucking know, but I'm just saying I'm supposing different things. I'm not just taking their word for shit because they lie. That's what they do. They lie. They lie and they steal. They steal land, they steal your youth, they steal your time. They steal your passion, they steal everything. I mean, this world is like fuck, man. And it's mostly modern conveniences and shit that tie us down to this shit. If it weren't for convenience stores, we'd all garden. Direct work leading directly to our garden or hunt. Hunter-gatherers. Is it savage? No more savage than going down and getting a fucking 20-pound sack of meat from the store that you had someone else chop up for you. Oh, but you're having a barbecue, so that's different than actually chopping the cow's head off. You didn't do that, so you're absolved of that sin or something? What the fuck? No? The Bible does say I'll rain down meats on their camp, but that's hey, that's the Lord's work. I don't deal with that shit. I'm just talking about what we would do if there was no grocery stores. And no, Donald Trump, you did not bring that word back into use. It wasn't an old-fashioned, old-timey word. If it was, then why is it on the side of every goddamn grocery store long before you? Such a fucking idiot. He thinks he invented prime the pump. I mean, anything that he says, he thinks he invented. Or if he doesn't know it, no one else knows it. This is some new information. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican? What? Yeah, back when Republicans wanted to end slavery, not bring it back again, make it great again. You gotta admit, that's when we were our richest. That's when we had the most land. That's when whites didn't have to put up all this shit down here. That's when it was great. Oh, it was great. You could do whatever and just blame those guys for your failures. And the cops would go arrest them. It was great. It was great. Oh my God, what happened to those days when you could just say, man, that black guy did it, and that was it. And you go home. Even when the cop sees you do it. What's this bullshit now about, like, everybody's got a camera and now I gotta go to court and shit? That's for them. That's for them. I pay my taxes. Like that makes you some kind of moral person. Render under Caesar, then, fucking idiot. Render under Caesar's what is Caesar's. Then again was right. Honey just gets me stoned. Just gets me stoned. But what a feeling when you dance on the ceiling. Well, if that's what that was about, doing a bunch of cocaine. Oh, what a feeling. When we're dancing on the ceiling, we're high as fuck. Mine was a freak like that. You didn't. Lionel. You can talk about the stash. Anybody with a stash. That's why he shaved it. Because he knows. Anybody ever knows that about the 70s and 80s? The aviator glasses, the stash, the porn stash, and the van. That's how you knew. Motherfucker was evil. Oh, members only jacket too. That was great in Shallow Hal. So what are you, the last member? Oh my God. Nice. Well done. What are you, the last member? Ooh. Oh, shit's a creaking and popping. Oh, pain may be over very soon. Oh, that would be so great. So, this universe could be one of many, and the jar of universes on God's desk for all we know. Just a suit to put on, slip into, slip out of. The time and space continuum to do whatever he wants to. You know what I mean? Well, if you don't have a universe full of problems, there's nothing to do, right? So, how boring would that story be? So you need a universe full of problems so you can come along and fix them all. And yes, that would make him both the problem and the solution. But we're trying to tell stories here and kill some time. If you look at the universe as just a way to kill forever. Forever. You have forever. And as long as there's something to do, it's worth doing. It doesn't become nihilistic. It doesn't go back to the black. That will come eventually. The point is to put that off for as long as possible. So come, let us reason together. God has time, space, and can do anything. Let's hear some of your ideas. It's okay if you made the cut. He wants to hear your ideas. He wants to know what they are. He wants your opinion. Come, let us reason together. It says it right there in the Bible. But, I mean, it doesn't come like, all right, look, you're going to tear all this shit down and get your shit. Move your throne. Back it up. Not that. I got this idea. It's pretty good. It's good. I like it. You want to do it just like that? I mean, do you want... that's the thing. I can't figure out how to make it where I could enjoy it, too. It's the same problem I had. I could do, but I couldn't find a way to enjoy it also. Have my cake and eat it. I can make the cake and watch people eat it. I can make a cake and sit by myself and cry and eat it. But I couldn't find like a good... I finally got it where I can have my cake and share it. And then also sit down at the table and be like, hey. Everyone's like, hey, where you been? You don't want to know. Just pass me a fucking fork, would you? No, we're just using hands? Yeah, that's good for me too. At this point, fuck it. I'm gonna stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. I don't give a fuck. It's a joke. It's gonna be that kind of party. I'm gonna stick my dick in the mashed potatoes. I don't know who came up with that, but God bless you. God bless whoever that is. I'd like to shake their hand. That's just... that motherfucker was high as shit. That's some shit that Opie would say at a party. That's why I wouldn't go places without him, because, he would come up with his own shit, and we both would. But we just in the middle of nowhere just start screaming. Oh, Lord, I think I'm finna die. Everybody's just like, who said that? And you're also like, someone finna die? Fint. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. Got Wrangler Jones on telephone. Say he ain't never coming home. No, that's what happens when you watch too much Wonka, man. And so it's a gateway drug to stronger chocolates. Chocolatey treats. The original. Gene Wilder. I'm shipping you off to military school with the goddamn Finkelstein shit. What's up, Teflon Tim? Is that not one of the best lines in history? It beats Shakespeare, really. Some of the shit with the performance and delivery. I swear, sometimes I think that boy's the Antichrist. Son of a bitch! No, we used to watch that movie, like me and my friend Opie. And we would just get fucking stoned and just watch that shit like pretty much every day. Hey, Daisy Doo, would you like to hear a little tune? And he's pissing in the... That's how it starts. He's pissing in the fucking clothes hamper instead of the toilet. I was like, oh my god, this is one of the... As soon as it started, I was like, oh yeah, this is so great. Oh my god, because that's all bam, 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 and puts his foot in the bowl. That's how it starts. Have you seen Kentucky Fried Movie? Oh no, Amazon Women on the Moon. Holy crap. Me and my brother were getting stoned. We're at my parents' house. And they were asleep upstairs. And we went and rented a movie. And they'd gone to bed. And we're down there watching it. And this scene comes on, like Arsenio Hall was like, he's putting this room together. He puts this lamp on the table, and he goes to plug the lamp in, and it shocks him. Like we'd just finished hitting the joint, and it's just kicking in. And the way he plugs it in, and he looks at the camera, and like this electric surge, and like he gets this huge afro, and he's just like flashing in and out between like him being regular, electric. My brother just gets up and runs out the door. He just runs, and I hit pause, and we both just. I'm right behind him as quietly as we can. We just run out, and we go outside to the road, and we just start fucking crying, laughing. We're just like just doubled over on the street. So that's when we wanted. It was like our parents come down, like, what the fuck? And it wasn't that fun. I mean, it was hilarious, but like that, I think our laughter would have definitely would have, because he just he covers his mouth and gets up and runs, and I'm just like, and like I just immediately just hit pause and just run out the door. This big fucking afro. Oh my god. Yeah. How you doing this lovely Saturday? Is it lovely in your area or not? The weather in your neck of the woods. I noticed that about like music, the more technical it gets, the more it sounds like it belongs on the Weather Channel. It's one of the reasons I don't like prog music a whole lot, is because it's just so technical. It's more like, it seems to me like they get off on being awesome at their instrument. You know what I mean? Because if you watch them playing, they're all just like, they're not really like, just jamming and into it like you see like a rock band. They're more like focused, and when they get done, that's when they're like smiling and stuff. I'm like, I like my band to be like, not like, I mean, I gotta hit every fucking note right. I'd rather see them up there having a good time and laughing and like, oh shit, I played that wrong. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. We're all having a good time, right? Me and my old lady, we like. I still think Dave Eberzees and Dave Grohl should get together, because they're both multi-instrumentalists, and start a band called Dave's Not Here. And, yeah, they just play all the instruments. It's just a two-man band. Dave Grohl and Dave Eberzees. Two of the best drummers. Dave's not here. Yeah, man, 27 minutes. Where are we at now? It's, fuck. 12:21. 1221. Yeah, my fucking falsetto is gone since I fucking blew my voice out this last time. Like throughout my music career, since I was 14 or so, I've pushed my voice too far and like, blowing it out, but it's always come back. And like this time it came back, but it's just now, it's just ready for like more metal shit, which is fine. I never really used the higher end of my voice or the falsetto. It's kind of like, dude, just scrap that. Let's go for a heavier sound. Yeah, I've been wanting to do a heavier sound anyways. And so yeah, I got a good bark now. I'm ready to do this shit. So yeah, man. Mike. That's the trough song right there. A trough. Why? I don't know. Because you gotta have four. Trough. Why? Because I want to. Because X. You have to watch the show to know. And showing is half the battle. Yeah, I don't think I need any more of this right now. Hash wax? Yeah, that's some good shit, dude. This one's only like 71. As opposed to like the 76 I had been smoking. I started 76 and then I had a 74. This one's a 71, but it's like, the other one, I don't know if I showed the other one. This one's like more like caramel, The other one was way drier. And the first one didn't even have this much in it. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's what with these things, but how long until these will stop being glass? Not long, I promise. Not long. Once you get a plastic that'll handle it, because that's just too much expense right there. Unless I'm gonna sell it in more than that little bit. Jesus Christ, dude. But no, I'm like I said, being a recovering opiate addict, in a state that smoking pot's legal. I highly recommend it to anybody that's trying to. It does just get you stoned, but helps keep the mind off of it, and that's a good thing. Because, like, I mean, if I'm not fucking high as shit, my mind's just like, I'll be at top. It's like non-stop. It's more annoying than anything, you know? But that'll probably be with me my whole life, so I'll just have to find some way to mediate it. It's alright. Definitely not trying to glorify. It's not a path I would recommend for anybody, man. I didn't like, start going down that path. It was all prescribed. But just because it's prescribed doesn't make it better for you. Yeah. So, anyways, man, I don't know. I'm thinking about playing some music or something. See if I can find something to listen to. Oh, let's listen to some Dirk Lot Fight or something. Stick it in me, dearie. Tear my filthy hole. Ow. Come on now. We're live. We got millions of fans watching this awesome, awesome show. You're embarrassing me here, computer. Why are you running slow? Oh, the screen's already loaded. I'm just talking now, just because I want to. Alright. I want to hear a couple. I want to hear... I think my back is broken. She must be an artist. Okay, I'm gonna kick the shit out of myself real quick, and then we'll start some music once I figure out how my own system works. Because apparently I can't remember when I'm playing music as opposed to when I'm playing drums, and so that's been mute this whole time. We got millions of people watching this show. This is embarrassing. We're gonna lose our time slot with the negative time people. I mean, I'm about to get my first check from the negative time people. There's a conversion rate thing that's going on there is happening. It's just like they're trying to figure out what to do with it from crypto. Is a translation from the show is over on their thing. I should have read the contract better, but it made sense. would be Dirk Cloud 5. It was an incredible show, man. That was nuts. That was like 92, 93. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I didn't even know there was an underground in Shreveport, and that just fucking blew my mind, dude. It was crazy. Quite possibly the most influential show I've ever been to in my life, because, I mean, like I said, I was sitting there in the doorway just watching the fucking crowd moving, and I was like, and not necessarily I wanted to play their music. I was like, I want to do that to people. I want to make people do that. Because they were just fucking just moving. It's just all one crowd. Like the crowd was just like moving as one. I'm like, I want to do that to people. I went to practice the next day. Everything that we changed everything a lot. It changed a lot of shit. So there's another band that opened up for. Well, I mean, that band came to Shreveport. They're from Eugene, Oregon. Yeah. Yeah, I think they got their start in the '80s. I want to say. So yeah. Right around there with the whole, everything that was going on, why they didn't take off, I don't know. A lot of people have said they don't like it as much as I mean, they like it. I'm like, how can you not like that shit? It's fucking brilliant, dude. It's just fucking, I think it's brilliant. But you feel how you want to feel. This is Seed. This is a band that was local in Shreveport. We did open up for this band several times. It was really cool. I actually have a video somewhere floating around here. There's a video of my band 6 Feet Under opening for Seed New Year's Eve, but I recorded over my band because we needed to tape fast, and we had Sublimation had a gig, and there was a film guy, and he like put a kaleidoscope in front of the thing. It was a cool. I'm so much more into art stuff than whatever, and like he really wanted to go check it out, the film and stuff like that, and there's a party going on. We got done with the gig, and he wanted to go check it out. I was like, He's like, yeah. And so me and him went back and just smoked pot and watched the fucking video footage like that, and even showed the kaleidoscope. I didn't even know he was doing that. I was back there playing the drums, and he got on me, and it's just like this weird, like, fucking fractally thing. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I used a kaleidoscope. I'm like, oh, fucking brilliant. That's fucking awesome. And he honed in on Andy, and would chase like his head is in there, and then you turn it, and then it's like all of a sudden there's his guitar, and then it's just doing all this weird shit. It was fucking dope. So somewhere around this place, I think my brother might have that tape. I don't know. It's on VHS somewhere. And then there's Seed New Year's Eve after that. That was really cool. Anyways, this is Seed. Liquid 80. I think this is that punk song that they have. If not, I'm going to find that one. And then there's Leatherhead. Do you like my music, Jack?
Do you like my music, Jack?
Well, late night special. Alright, so, yeah. There's a lot of really good tunes on that album there. That was Seed with Music for Apples. Those songs were, first we heard Liquid 80, and then we heard Leatherhead. Before that was Dirk Claude Fight, She Must Be an Artist, and before that was, I don't know, the first one was She Must Be an Artist, the next one was The One That Killed Him. That's what those two were. Sorry about that. Sorry. Trying to find stuff that's okay for me to play. I can play some Red Sea Fires. Epinephrine. I haven't heard this one before. You guys want to listen to a 5-minute and 26-second song? There's also Time Frames, which is 4 minutes 10. Let's do it 4 minute 10s, because that's time frames. Let's check this out.
Within the sponge of the despair, the consciousness unravels. Turn on the light before you see. Sit in darkness. Shadow forms slip by.
course, at the end there, you have Beaker from the Muppets translating the whole song for anybody that speaks Meep. Because it was probably nonsense up until that point when they started, when Beaker started talking at the end. He had explained what you just heard. They're from Meep. They speak Meep, and they need a translator. At least someone's doing it, for fuck's sake. I mean, come on. Is no one going to think about the children of Meep? So worried about your stock markets and the bamboozled swindlers. Yeah, that was Red Ceasefire. I did their album. I don't remember what I was doing. I've been searching Reverb Nation on that, and a thing popped up saying that their album was free, their EP. So I grabbed it. I like it. I like it a lot. We're gonna listen to some Ars Artem real quick because we got some artists there. We have Mr. Vertigo with Boot Prints, Hello Echo with Pop Death, and then Robotic Hawks with Further. Let's jump right into that, shall we? Let's do it.
Be better if it wasn't for the broken windows and blueprints on the door. And you're turning into everything the both of us deplore. Though this problem is something we just can't ignore. You've been acting like you've never even met me before. Reverse.
Getting funky with the cheese whiz. Eating some chocolate, sorry. Hot chocolate? Anyone? Have you ever seen a Star Wars? Chocolate covered cherry filled Darth Vader? Huh? You ever seen a Triceratops that'll get you high as shit? Hit me, Batman, I'm not high enough. Don't worry. I'm Batman. So, listen to some old ass gear now while we're doing this shit.
Saving me from heaven in You may be me, I love you more. Wasn't too long ago, I was sure the end was after me. Not to digress, but I would have to be naive to believe you. Something other than this same old sad disgrace. What you're waiting for it to break in? Well, could it be misery was born to be our blushing bride? Wait and see. What could it be? We're all born here just to die. So I'll come in after you. Would it be hard to leave?
you wait for me? Would you wait for me? Would you wait for me? Would you wait for me? Yeah.
That was Geardmo with Triple Play there. And was it triple? I don't know. That's however many songs it was. But it's 1 hour and 26 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and head out. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head out. I'm going to go get stoned and sit around my house. It's Saturday. I'm taking the day off. They won't let me sleep, but they let me have the time off, so at least I'll take the day off before they make me go back to work tonight, so. Never ends, it never ends. Read the contract carefully. Talk to you soon, maybe. Maybe real soon. Sooner than you think. Sooner than you'd like. I promise that much. Oh, so much sooner than you want it to happen. We'll be talking soon. Will you be there, though? Yeah, it's more than sooner than you want it to happen, but can I count on you to show up? Is what I'm saying. You need to be there, even though I'm inconveniencing you.